What's up, y'all? My name is AaronMallory, aka Mr. Let Go, and today we're about to discuss the 5 things women don't know about men. This is about to be good. Let's get it. Number 1, we do not care about sex as much as you think we do. And I know you're thinking like, wait, what? Men love sex. Yes, we do. But sex is about a dopamine rush. See, almost the same way you look at your favorite snack, your favorite food, your favorite dessert, you get a dopamine rush even before you eat that food. But once you eat it, you're kind of satisfied for that moment. Keyword, for that moment. And then what ends up happening is you move on to something else. So as far as sex goes, for men, we love sex, but then we're ready to move on to something else. What a lot of women may not ever realize is after a man ejaculates, he instantly, in a lot of occasions, is ready to move on to something else. Our minds literally switch to something else the second we're done having sex. Now, this isn't saying that we don't like you after sex, but the actual dopamine rush literally just goes away. There's women out here who feel like, after sex and after this happened, they think this is going to happen, and the guy does the total opposite, or a guy just changes after sex. It's not necessarily that a guy is a bad person. It's just that he got what he was looking for. So even though sex is very important to us, sex isn't necessarily going to get a man to stay with you, to want to be with you, or any of these things. Because like I said, sex to a certain degree is just like your favorite food. If somebody keeps serving you your favorite food over and over again after you've eaten it, are you going to want it? I love cheesecake, right? So I go to the Cheesecake Factory and they have the best cheesecake in my opinion, right? So I'm eating the cheesecake, and then if they say, hey, we have all you can eat cheesecake, do you think I'm going to keep eating cheesecake all day? No, I might eat one more slice, and then I'm going to tell the person like, no, I'm good. I'm done. I don't want any more. Until the next time I'm in the mood for cheesecake. But no matter how much cheesecake a restaurant would feed me, I'm not going to be dedicating myself to that restaurant. Somebody else might have some cheesecake that I like. And no matter how much cheesecake the Cheesecake Factory gives me, I'm still going to go to the other restaurant. Because that in itself doesn't make me fall in love with that restaurant. See, the thing that would make me fall in love with like the restaurant is the restaurant and not the food. So going to the thought process of sex in a woman or in a man is not about the sex. We fall in love with the woman, not the sex. So a woman can give a guy all the sex that she wants to, but at the end of the day, that's not going to change his narrative about how he thinks about you. Holding on to a man is not necessarily about what's down here. It's about what's up here. Your emotional intelligence, your ability to deal with conflict in a positive way, your ability to just compromise instead of just always wanting your way all the time. These are the things that really do it for a man and not just sex, because there are men and women out here who literally just put all of their emphasis on their sex, and then they wonder why things don't go right, because it's about what's up here, not what's down here, that really matters to men, and of course women too, but we're talking about men. Number 2, regardless of what you've heard from a man, what you've heard from anybody else, we men only fall in love twice, maybe 3 times, but at most 3 times. But with most guys, it's twice. So what does this mean? All of these other women that we've said I love you to, because in a lot of situations, sadly, In a lot of cases, men and women say they love each other in almost every relationship they're in, or they've been in, or a long-term situationship. But what does that really mean? See, a man can love you, but he won't be in love with you. So as far as love goes, there's loving somebody, because I love a lot of different women, but was I ever in love with those women? The answer for the majority of them is no. How many times have I been in love? I've been madly in love only one time. And I've dated a lot of different women, but at the end of the day, I've only been madly in love with somebody one time. See, to a lot of men, being madly in love with a woman doesn't really make a lot of sense. Like, what are we getting out of being madly in love with you? See, if you just think about love itself, being in love is about purpose. This person is purposeful for my future. And if I'm with a woman that I'm still trying to figure out, is she the one for me? Do I want to spend the rest of my life with her? There's no purpose in me being in love with her until I get enough confirmation from everything going on around me that she is the one. So until you are the one for me, there's no purpose in me falling madly in love with you. I can love you. I love my kids. I love guys I grew up with. I love, friends. I love a lot of different people. But being in love with somebody, that is a purpose thing. And a lot of us, regardless of how you may look at it, we don't have a reason to be that deeply in love with you. Just because we're with you doesn't mean love. It means learning. I'm learning about you. I'm trying to judge whether your life and my life is going in the same direction. So the whole love thing, it can mean anything. There's a lot of people that men and women love, but being in love has to be purposeful. So it's no meaning or no reason for a man in particular, because I don't know about women, to fall madly in love with this woman and that woman and this woman. For what? Because if you just look at it, am I going to marry this woman or am I just in a relationship with this woman? So if I don't sit here and say, okay, this is the woman I want to spend the rest of my life with, what is the purpose of allowing myself to fall deeply in love with a woman that I don't want to be with for the rest of my life? If you think a man is madly in love with you, it's important for you to look at things and say, okay, if he's this in love with me, why hasn't he married me? That's one of the indications to tell whether the man actually is in love with you or he just loves you. That's the difference. Number 3, we men use canned responses when we're talking to women. Have you ever been driving and somebody important calls you, but you don't want to answer the phone because you're driving, and you hit the little button in your phone that gives you a canned response, and you just hit the button and it says, can't talk, I'm driving, we'll call you back later, leave a message if it's important, and it's just one button that you push? That's kind of like how we men operate in a lot of situations. We men listen to women. Women don't really listen to us, but we listen to women. And there are a lot of women out here who would literally tell men just in conversation that, I don't know if this is true or not. This is what women tell men though. If she's flirting with a man and the man is flirting with her and she gives out her phone number, in her mind, according to what I've heard women say, she is willing to have sex with that man at some point in the future. So since we men know this, we make sure not to talk too much. Because the other side of this, I've asked women, so have you had sex with every man that you've given your phone number to, if that's the case? And of course the women will say no. And I'll ask her okay, so what happens? And she'll say, they always end up saying something stupid. So what we do is we don't say too much because we are not, I'm not going to say we're afraid, but we're cognizant of saying something stupid. We know if we say something stupid, it's over. So when I'm flirting with a woman and she gives me her phone number, the first thing I want to think is like, okay, this means that there's a high possibility that I'm in. All I got to do is not mess this up by saying something stupid. So I give out, and men, not just me, we give out canned responses. Responses that we feel like aren't going to get us in a situation where we're looking or saying something stupid. Let me give you an example. Say a man is talking to a woman, right? And he wants her to come spend the night. He says, yo, you gonna come over? And she says, yeah. And then he asks her, do you want to spend the night? And she'll say, well, I'm not really sure. Then the guy say, okay, just bring an overnight bag just in case. She'll say, okay. So she comes over and he's talkative. Everything's, they're really talkative. They're having this deep discussion about different things, right? Gets a little late. And he says, so you want to get your overnight bag out of the car or no? If the woman says, okay, and she goes and gets the overnight bag, he literally is going to shut up because he has everything that he needs. But now he knows that the only thing that's going to stop things from going the way he wants them to is if he says something stupid. Now, just because she grabs her overnight bag does not mean that they're going to have sex. But this is an indication for him to shut up and not say anything stupid. So for the rest of the evening, regardless of what goes on, this guy is literally going to shut up. And the only thing that's going to come out of his mouth are canned responses. Number 4, and this may hurt a little bit, but it's about being honest and giving you the untold truth about men and women, right? So don't shoot the messenger. Men have exit strategies. When we meet a woman, in a lot of cases, we have already stamped a certain amount of time on your forehead. So say I'm out and I meet a woman, depending on how she looks, her demeanor, what she says, like her conversation, I may say, oh, wow, she's wife material. Or I might just say, okay, I'll give her about 2 months or one night stand or about 5-6 months. Because we can tell by your conversation, we can tell by a lot of different things about you, how long this is going to last. Men almost live and die off of association. And what association is, we associate this situation with that situation. And we judge these situations like in contrast of each other. So to us, and this is only speaking as a man, a lot of women act like a lot of other women. Like they say some of the same things, they do some of the same things, they think in certain ways. And I'm not saying every woman is the same, but from our standpoint, a lot of women act like a lot of other women. But what woman is this woman acting like? And this is how we start judging women on how long this is going to last. And it's not that we're trying to just use a woman and leave, but we're giving this woman a certain amount of time before we're like, all right, we're out because you confirmed what I was already thinking. And this isn't a negative thing. This is just a compartmentalization thing, because a woman can be wife material and turn out not to be wife material. So it's not always a bad thing. It's just we compartmentalize people, not just women. We compartmentalize people. So say I meet a woman and she says, oh my God, 10 times in a conversation, like, oh my God. We start compartmentalizing that woman with this woman over here. Or a woman does or says this, and we start looking at that woman like, all right, we're associating this particular woman with a woman that we dated in the past. So now we're looking for idiosyncrasies that will tell us like, all right, this is going to go in the same way as that went. But we can't just dump a woman off of what we think. So we just give it time. And the time that we give a woman is the exit strategy time. I'm going to give her about 4 months to confirm what I'm already thinking, whether good or bad. Because like I said, it could be good. Like she could be the one. But we give you a certain allotted amount of time to tell whether you're the one or not. Instead of being like, oh my God, she's the one. No, we give you time. And once we realize that you are or you're not, we're on to somebody else. So it's actually a good strategy having an exit strategy. It would be nice if women had exit strategies, because a lot of times, from what I've seen, women just ignore things and they just go down this road, and next thing you know, they're with a man for like 4 years, and she knew. If you ask women, because this is real, because I get a lot, I counsel a lot of women. A woman would see that he was not the right man within 4 or 5 months, but somehow she stays with him for like 4 or 5 years. If you ask her, she'll tell you like, oh, you know what? I knew he wasn't this, a few months in. And I'll ask her like, so why did you stay? Then we look for things that are red flags. You know how people say like women ignore red flags? We don't ignore red flags. We compartmentalize red flags. Because the thing about it is, everybody has issues that we don't like. So it may be something that we can be okay with. But at the end of the day, we do compartmentalize your red flags. And when they start piling up, you know how the junk drawer starts piling up and you throw something else in there and the drawer doesn't necessarily want to close because you have all this junk in it? That's kind of like what we do with red flags. Unlike a lot of women. Women just put up with them. No, we compartmentalize the red flags. And when it's too many red flags to close the drawer, it's time to go. Number 5. Since we do not give a crap about being right ever, unless we're talking to our buddies about LeBron James versus Michael Jordan or something like that, we don't care about being right. So what this does is we have all of the power in arguments with women. Because guess what? Most women care about being right. So we literally use your need or your want or your thirst for being right all the time against you. Well, in some cases, you're having a disagreement with a man, or you guys are going back and forth about an issue. We can easily end the conversation by saying, you know what? You're right. So we're not saying that you're right. Well, I'm not going to say that. Sometimes we're not saying that you're right because we agree with you. We're just saying you're right in order to get you to stop arguing. Because we all know that that's an extremely important thing to a lot of women. So when we say, you know what, you're right, that means we don't want to argue no more. We're not agreeing with you. We just don't want to argue no more. We don't care about being right. So since we don't care about being right, we aren't as emotionally invested in the argument. And with that being said, in a heated argument, heated discussion, or any type of issue, the person who actually wins, it's not about winning and losing, but I'm just using this figuratively. The person that actually wins the argument is usually the calmest person. Because when you're in your emotions, whether you're a man or a woman, most likely you're losing. So when a man is able to grab a hold of the issue or the argument and say, you know what, you're right, he wins. Not saying him, but the person that is less emotionally invested in this situation, the quietest, the calmest, the person that's cursing less, the person that's less animated about what's going on, that person usually wins the argument because they're controlling the narrative because the other person is really upset. So I'm sure I've upset a lot of people, but at the end of the day, it is part of my job to let women and men know the truth about the opposite sex that nobody else on earth is going to tell you. Now, if you enjoyed this video, or if you hated the video, make sure to subscribe to my channel, hit the notification bell so you'll know the next time I post. Leave a comment, make sure, because I would love to see what you guys think about this. And if you disagree, let me know why you disagree. It's okay. And lastly, like the video. Like the video. Y'all have a wonderful day.